Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, I'd like to welcome you to the best damn wrestling talk show in the world, Players Code Talks Wrestling. How's it going, folks? I would like to start the show. Well, I wanted to start the show for that because I'm in, it's fucking wrestling. What's up? Second of all, I'd like to apologize. We missed Extreme Rules, a show for Extreme Rules. I will quickly run down winners, losers, title changes, all that. When the show starts. But I wanted to say that I apologize for putting that schedule up and then not following the schedule. It's a big deal for me to bring you guys consistent content. See, I fuck consistent content. Yeah. But yes, it's a big deal for me to bring you guys consistent content. Players Code. Since we started, 3 videos have gone up every Monday for almost 2 months, a little bit over. So we're working out the kinks in this show because if you notice, it's just me talking. Mike is not here. Mike is busy finishing up his last few weeks of high school, so he will join us again once that's finished. Hopefully, it'll just be a couple weeks, or maybe he'll drop in when he's not too busy. But yeah, so you're gonna have to deal with just me. And I apologize for that in and of itself. So, basically, the new plan is 3 weeks out of the month, we're going to do Raw. Just Raw, and we will cover SmackDown briefly. Most likely, we'll cover SmackDown. It won't be as in-depth in Raw. It's not going to get its own show. Now, on the week of pay-per-views, we'll be doing Raw. We will be doing a show for SmackDown. And we will be doing pay-per-view shows. It's just we kind of got caught in this. When are we going to do it? I'm too busy. Fuck, we've already passed the date where it would be relevant. So, I am going to cover what happened at Extreme Rules really quickly. You had Cesaro and Swagger versus RVD in a triple threat elimination match. Not a bad match. RVD, to me, still is not the same RVD. I know, he's taken a lot of bumps, and he's old. But still, a pretty good match. Cesaro hit a neuralizer on the trash can for the win. Rusev versus Truth and Woods. Now, if you've watched Raw or haven't, I'm going to get to this, but Alexander Rusev is no longer Alexander Rusev. He's just Rusev, and he's being billed from Russia instead of Bulgaria. Weird. Also, they're running this Vladimir Putin. Pretty much they've gone full Rocky IV at this point. So where Lana comes out and talks about how great Vladimir Putin is. Obviously, to make to play off of what's happening over in Ukraine. But anyway, Rusev and Truth and Woods gets taken out in the first 15 seconds. He gets actually thrown into the underside of the ring. Rusev lifts up the apron and throws him into the metal cabling down there, or whatever. And then Truth had a little bit of offense, but Rusev puts him in the camel clutch or the accolade for the win. Barrett versus Big E for the IC belt. Really physical match. Really good physical match between two big dudes. Barrett hit the bullhammer for the win. I'm glad to see him with the title. Fans love him. Shield versus Evolution. This match stole the show. Best match on the card. Evolution gets their ass kicked pretty much for almost, half the match. And mostly Dean Ambrose. Dean Ambrose seems to be the whipping boy of Shield when it comes to 6-man tag matches. But things break down. Orton, Triple H, Ambrose, and Rollins all go off into the stands. Rollins does a beautiful high spot off of the stands. Probably a good, I'd say 15 feet. He jumps and lands on everybody. That was awesome. Reigns and Batista are left in the ring. And Reigns hits the Superman punch and the spear for the win. Great match. Bray Wyatt versus John Cena Steel Cage. I could do a whole fucking show about this match in particular. You guys know, for anybody, and for all the people who watched listened to last week's, thank you, first of all. Second of all, I'm a huge Bray Wyatt fan. Big Bray Wyatt mark. So, Bray Wyatt versus John Cena in the cage. Not a bad match, but they are, I'm not sure what the hell they're doing with Bray Wyatt and the family, because the whole point of this cage was to keep Rowan and Harper out. But they were climbing the cage, and they were keeping John Cena in, and he tried to climb out 7 times, and he couldn't do it because those guys would follow to wherever he was. It was weird. at some point, all three members of the Wyatt family end up in the cage. So then they're all knocked out. Cena goes to the door. The lights go out. This little boy is singing with a voice changer on the microphone, singing "Whole World." Cena shits himself. Bray hits Abigail and wins, and walks out of the cage. It was, yeah, it was a weird thing, but it kind of worked. It was creepy. Like, it was creepy as fuck. So, Paige versus Tamina for the Divas title. Good match, especially for a Divas match. Tamina was dominant for a lot of it, but Paige still looked good, and then she won with that fucking awesome inverted scorpion lock. I think that's what it's called. That's incredible, and she did it to somebody as big as Tamina. Like, that was awesome. Then the final match of the night, Bry versus Kane for the World Heavyweight Championship. Not a bad match. A lot of this whole pay-per-view was very reminiscent of the Attitude Era. The high spots, the little boy in the cage match. This match, fucking Kane and Bryan battle out to the parking lot, thrown on cars, thrown into the production truck. Bryan hits Kane with a tire iron. He brings Kane back to the ring on a forklift, so that was awesome. And then they had a flaming table spot at the end, which was ruined by the guys with the fire extinguishers, because they just kept spraying Kane. I could have sworn those guys were on Daniel Bryan's payroll. But Bryan hits the knee for the win. Not a bad show. Not a bad show. Definitely, if you, like I said, very reminiscent of an Attitude Era show. So, not a bad show. So now, the main show, what we're going to get into tonight, is Raw from last week, 5/5/2004. This is the aftermath show of Extreme Rules. So let's dig in. First of all, I got notice of this by the WWE Network because I have the app on my phone. It sends me alerts. Apparently, Triple H tweeted that tonight Dean Ambrose is going to defend the United States title in a 20-man over-the-top battle royal. Right away, I texted Mike and said, "Well, Ambrose is dropping the belt tonight." Yeah, that's what happened. I'm going to spoil it for you right now before I even get into discussing it. And it makes sense because it's just sitting there. He's not defending the belt. He only defended it just, on SmackDown last week against Ryback and Del Rio. I was surprised he walked out of there with the belt, to be honest. I fully expected him to lose it there, but he walked out with it. But yeah, it was doing nothing. He doesn't need it. The Shield are as over can get, and even though their feud with Evolution is kind of dying now because Batista's leaving, so I don't know what they're going to do with that, but he doesn't need the U.S. title. The U.S. title could be used to be elevating somebody else right now. And Battle Royals suck. I hate Battle Royals. It's just a bunch of flailing limbs for 10 minutes until you get down to the last few guys, which ended up coming down to Sheamus and Dean. My question was, what keeps Rollins and Reigns from sliding in to the ring to help? Like, is there a babyface force field that they're not allowed to pass through because they're good guys now? Because if the Shield were still heels, they would have had something to do with Ambrose at least getting involved. They would have gotten involved. But I'm thinking there must have been some kind of face force field. But Sheamus hits a bro kick out of fucking nowhere. Literally, he pulls it out of his ass and then tosses Ambrose over the top rope. Yeah, I mean, it was an okay match. I hate Battle Royals. I don't hate Battle Royals. I dislike Battle Royals. So it was a nice way for Ambrose. And Ambrose had a nice flurry of offense and eliminations towards the end. So it was a nice way to keep Ambrose looking good while taking the belt off of him. One of those situations that you just kind of needed. Oh god. So we got a sneak peek at See No Evil 3 tonight, folks, because they're running the whole angle where Daniel Bryan and Brie are in the back. Stephanie says that Daniel Bryan only pissed Kane off by winning. So the win only served to piss him the fuck off, as one of my favorites would say. And the only way to stay safe is to stay in the locker room. As she closes the door to the locker room, Kane's mask is hanging on the back, or a child's version of Kane's mask is hanging on the back of the door. So yeah, they're this. I don't know, if they decided test out some Attitude Era stuff again to see how it would work. But there's a lot of shades of that going on. It's like a goddamn cheesy horror movie. Moving on. Oh, this is interesting. RVD versus Cesaro. Now it was an okay match. It was a hell of a lot better than their Intercontinental title tournament match, where Cesaro actually showed signs of a heel turn, and I was very happy about that because I don't care if he's face, I don't care if he's heel. I just want him to be one or the other, or at least be closer to one than the other. RVD wins this match by DQ because Rob gets his leg hung up in the corner. Only one leg hung up in the corner. Even though you see it slip out a couple times. But he's hung up in the corner. And Cesaro just beats the shit out of him. And doesn't stop at the 5 count. So the ref has to ring the bell and DQ him. And so Cesaro finally shows heel. He finally looks like a heel. Obviously, losing by DQ and beating the ever-living shit out of Rob Van Dam past the ref count, that's a pretty big heel move. And it was great. So I'm happy to finally see them deciding where they're going to go with Cesaro's character. Wyatt promo. Again, like I said, I'm a huge Bray Wyatt fan. Promo was great. Bray Wyatt finally got to that point of declaring himself a god. We really got to keep account of how many wrestlers declare themselves gods at this point. But anyway, still a good promo. It was very haunting. And it actually kind of worked. He talked about doing this for all the people that have ever been rejected, doing this for the girls who were never pretty enough to be prom queen. He does what he does in his message and gets his message out for all of those who have ever been kicked down or not allowed to do something because of where they come from or something like that. I don't remember it word for word, but it was quite good. The crowd was the crowd was really high-low. From what I read on R Squared Circle, I guess the security in the arena was pretty strict. They were telling people to, sit down, not be, they were being very, very strict. So that could have been why. But the crowd was very up and down. Although in that RVD match, the crowd was hot as hell for RVD. But Wyatt promo was great. If you can find it, go watch it. It was really good. I was really happy with it. Cody Rhodes and Ryback. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention in the Battle Royal, you had both Rhodes brothers. In the Battle Royal. So Cody accidentally eliminated Goldust in the Battle Royal. I think Goldust was mounting Ryback in the corner, doing punches, and Goldust was mounted somebody. Ryback threw Cody into Goldust. Goldust tumbled over the top rope. Cody then followed shortly after. So this match, Cody Rhodes versus Ryback, they have a pretty decent match. Ryback is pretty dominant throughout. Cody does get in some offense. But Goldust actually tries to cut Axel off from pushing Cody off the top rope. So he tries to stop Axel from cheating, but Axel pushes Dusty into the pole, and Cody falls into the shell shock for the pin. So they are really, really pushing this hard, but they're also stretching it out. I expected these guys to be broken up already. I guess Goldust is really only going to be here till SummerSlam, from what I've heard. So I would expect this to have some form of culmination coming up at Payback as we move towards SummerSlam. Bryan and Brie continue to be trapped in a bad horror movie. They're basically saying, fuck it, we're going to leave. And they take off. Stephanie stops them and says, all right, we'll get your car. We'll have her brought to the back, to the locker room. Blah, blah, blah. It's whatever. Cinco de Mayo celebration with the Los Matadores and El Torito. Really, I just wanted to see the bull. I actually didn't get to see the WLC match. I missed it. But I heard it was fantastic. And fight breaks out. And that's about it, really. I mean, Torito gets to Hornswoggle. That's really it. It's really sad that, I want to see Hornswoggle cut a promo. Or the Bull cut a promo. Somebody. Rusev versus Kofi Kingston. Lana is really working that Vladimir Putin thing. And this crowd did not give a shit. There was maybe a USA chant. But from what I remember, this crowd didn't care about her talking up Vladimir Putin. So, that's for what it's worth. Not actually a bad match. Kofi actually gave Rusev a good amount of offense. I was actually surprised. This match lasted, I'd say, maybe 6 or 7 minutes. And yeah, Kofi did well. Rusev still won with the accolade, but Kofi did well. I want more Kofi. Why can't we have more Kofi? Why wasn't he in the IC title belt, the title tournament? Why wasn't he in the 20-man over the top battle royal? Actually, he was in the 20-man over the top battle royal. But why couldn't he be the guy? We need more Kofi Kingston. The guy's amazing. Cena Evil 3 continues with Brie and Daniel. I think at this point they actually have the car and preparing to leave. But Stephanie says that you can't leave. If you leave before your match, then you forfeit the titles and whatever. So Bryan says, all right, fuck it. He goes to the ring and has a amazing match with Alberto Del Rio. This match was fucking great. Del Rio looked really strong, even though JBL, Lawler, and Cole were playing up that, well, Bryan's still hurt from Extreme Rules, and he's not mentally in this match. But Del Rio looked good. But they went back and forth. It was a fucking great match. It was just good. It was something you want to, one of the, everybody who knows who Daniel Bryan is from before WWE and in WWE too knows the guy can wrestle. He's a fantastic wrestler. And Del Rio, I've talked about last week. He's got really pretty good in ring ability. And these two guys they worked really well together. It flowed really well. It was great. Del Rio taps to the yes lock, and the crowd was really hot for it. I've heard, I guess from what I've heard, the higher ups in WWE are worried that the yes chant is more over than Bryan, which I think is fucking stupid. But because they had Del Rio kind of like, it was a mocking thing, obviously, but they were having him do yes chants. The crowd was not having it. So if that was their first little test to see if maybe we can get somebody else to do the yes chants, and no, not fucking happening. So, oh god, right. So Bryan finishes his match. He goes to the car to leave. Of course, the car doesn't start, so Bryan pops the hood to go take a look at the car. Puts the hood, fixes it, puts the hood down. Guess who's sitting in the back? Actually, I'm just kidding. There's nobody in the back. Of course, Kane was sitting in the fucking back of the car. So they get out of the car. Kane actually, I think, he pulls Kane out of the car. He beats Kane a little bit. He gets back in the car. He starts to drive off. Kane actually jumps on the car and tries to get into the moonroof. Thought that was pretty funny. So then he gets Kane off the car and drives off. I don't know. I'm not, the build up to Extreme Rules was okay because you had, it just felt, it didn't feel that cheesy. It kind of did with the whole Demon Kane thing. We're not fucking calling him Demon Kane, by the way. It's not happening. But the build-up didn't feel so cheesy, whereas now this is felt very, very cheesy. But that's Attitude Era kind of to a T. Oh, and Brie can't act, by the way. Terrible. The screams were terrible. But yeah, Brie can't act. Oh yeah. So we got Bad News Barrett versus Big E. IC title rematch. Did pretty good match. Basically the same match we saw at Extreme Rules. Barrett wins with a bullhammer. They tried to sell that. So something happened. The ref got bumped, and Barrett raked the eyes of Big E. Now, my question is, guys thumb to the eye or rake the eyes in front of the ref all the time. So they tried to make it seem like Barrett stole this match with the rake to the eyes and then the bullhammer. So, if they want to try and give Barrett more heel characteristics, use better heel tactics. Low blow would have totally accomplished this. He could have dropped, low blowed Big E, and then popped him with the bullhammer, and that would have been perfect. We would have seen Cesaro turn heel, or not turn heel, but look heel, and Barrett look heel. But the rake to the eyes it was really light. And the match didn't really hold my attention too much, not like last night's. It wasn't as good. It just didn't have the same feel. Oh, so Zeb Coulter, Real Americans come out. Apparently Zeb's back to being a racist because he has a deportation list of all the foreign wrestlers on it, like Paige, Emma, Santino, everybody. Hornswoggle, I think, is on that list too. So yeah, apparently because of this, I guess we're getting RVD v Cesaro, a Cesaro RVD feud instead of Cesaro versus Swagger, which really never had a payoff. I mean, I guess you could say the triple threat was the payoff, but it really wasn't. It's just kind of weird they decided to go with Cesaro and RVD. But oh yeah, Adam Rose debuted. Woo! I said I was interested to see Adam Rose. I actually watched him wrestle. I watched NXT this week. Squash match practically, but I still hold my hopes. I like we need funny gimmicks. If you don't like the gimmick, I understand, but we need goofy shit to keep things light around here. But so he comes out, does his entrance, which is pretty cool. He gets up on the apron, falls back into his crowd of rosebuds, grabs Zeb's mustache, tosses Swagger over the top rope. So apparently we're getting Swagger versus Rose. Weird. Not sure. I mean, I get it because he's foreign and it works with Zeb being racist, but whatever. Shield versus Wyatt family. I saw somebody comment on Reddit that this is the new Freebirds versus the Von Erichs. It's gotta be. And if you don't know what the hell I'm talking about, go look it up. But it's just... I actually said, do we just not have any more 3-man teams for these guys to fight? Like, can we not put together any more guys for these people to fight? Great match. There was "This is awesome" chant, and rightfully so. It was amazing. These guys need to fight each other every week. It's just they really work well together. It's two groups of 3 guys that work well together, not only as a team but as opponents. And it was great. Evolution comes out and distracts the Shield enough for Wyatt to hit Sister Abigail on Reigns for the win. And then Evolution proceeds to beat the shit out of the Shield to end the show. So the Shield gets left laying after their big win at Extreme Rules. So, how did this show go? Not a bad show. It wasn't great. I mean, wish it was better, but it was okay. The Shield always brings the house down. I always enjoy the Wyatts. No John Cena, so I don't have to complain about that for 45 minutes. So there you go. I guess this is actually going pretty short considering it's just me talking. So I guess I'll just give a little bit of my opinion on kind of the state of where things are at. The whole thing with Daniel Bryan is it just doesn't seem like they have anything for him to do. They don't have any heels for him to fight. Wyatt's mixed up with Cena. Triple H, Orton, and Batista are all mixed up with the Shield. Batista's leaving, so that gets rid of Evolution, unless they plan on bringing in a new member. But they're really, Barrett's got the IC title, so that's not really a feud that's going to work. Cesaro's locked up with RVD. They just don't have any good heels to put Bryan up against right now. And that sucks. Because, I don't want to see him lose momentum in his title reign. And then the higher-ups go, well, Daniel Bryan really couldn't carry the company just like we thought he couldn't. I want him to stay strong and be a good champion and have a good reign. But the whole angle with Kane is just not... It's not fulfilling. It's not impactful. And I know a lot of people say, well, the writers kind of take a little bit of a break between after WrestleMania and then coming into the lead up to SummerSlam. The writers take a little bit of time off there because it's a blow-off time. The build from the Rumble to WrestleMania is huge. It's a huge... And then WrestleMania is the culmination of all that, and it's a huge thing. So it's a big blow-off time. Not to say they should be shitty stories, but they should at least, But the problem is they just don't have anybody developed to take Daniel Bryan on. So that makes me sad. But we'll see how far this goes. Obviously, they're going to get another match, most likely a Payback. Brock Lesnar, people that say Daniel Bryan and Brock Lesnar would be good, I would agree, but not yet. You can't have Brock Lesnar immediately going and losing to somebody. Or, and then you don't want to take the belts off of Bryan that quickly, I would think. and also, do you really want to put belts on a part timer? That's the other thing. Is a lot of people say, well, you can have Lesnar come out and take the belts off Bryan. Yeah, but Lesnar's not wrestling full time. We haven't seen the dude since WrestleMania. And I get it because it kind of keeps the mystique of the guy who broke the streak. But seriously, you cannot put belts on a part timer. That doesn't work. The guy who holds the title is the face of your company and needs to be seen. So, if they turn Cena heel, that'd be awesome. I'd love to see a heel Cena versus Daniel Bryan. That'd be great. Not gonna happen because Cena's not gonna turn heel. But, yeah. So that was Raw. Oh, sorry. I guess I need to cover a few other things. Evolution and the Shield. Like I said, kind of confused as to where this is gonna go because I guess Batista isn't scheduled. Is no longer scheduled to wrestle because after Raw and SmackDown of this past week, he was no longer scheduled to wrestle. From what I've heard, I could be wrong. He could be on Raw next week. Who the hell knows? But he was supposed to leave to do Guardians of the Galaxy stuff. So why do you bring him back so shortly? Like their initial plan was to put the title on him. He came back as the saving face of the company to take the belts off of evil Orton and to thwart the Authority. But what was your end game? Like, did you just say, all right, Batista, we're going to put the belts on you for a month. You're going to drop them in Extreme Rules because you're going to have to leave a week after that. Like, they really, really, really short-sighted with that whole thing. I'm trying not to get into it because it's past and we're trying to stay on point here. So, but I hope they find something for the Shield to do and don't kind of speed up their breakup process, although I don't think they will because we were all expecting them to break up before WrestleMania, and that didn't happen. They had a super face turn, which has been awesome, and I fucking love the Shield. So, I'm going to cover SmackDown real quick. I guess, I don't have to cover it real quick. I will cover SmackDown. Because I'm only like 27 minutes. It's weird when I don't have to, when I'm not talking to somebody and I'm just going. I'm just talking to you guys. Thank you for listening, by the way, everybody. I appreciated everybody who listened to last week's show. Let's see. So we got Dean Ambrose and Sheamus for the WWE title again. Sheamus wins clean with the road kick. And weirdly enough, Roman and Seth were not at ringside. Good match. The crowd was behind Ambrose. Ambrose did dive out of the ring at one point and barely made it in before the 10 count. So obviously they had to do the rematch because every champion apparently has a rematch clause in their contract. So, and Sheamus going over clean is not something we're not used to, and it just kind of they're trying to re-legitimize the mid-card titles. They're trying to re-legitimize the IC title, which they did with the tournament, and hopefully continue to do so. And they're trying to re-legitimize the U.S. title after being around Dean's waist for 300 and some days, and really not. It was barely remembered that he had it. So Sheamus winning clean, I think, is a step towards that. Also, I think we're gonna see a Sheamus heel turn soon. Not sure who the hell he's gonna feud with once the Shield moves on, or maybe Ambrose will feud with Sheamus once Evolution goes. I don't know. But so yeah, that happened. Just to say, I didn't watch SmackDown. I am just reading results. So please don't crucify me. You got Cesaro and Bad News versus Rob Van Dam and Big E. One of these matches. Heyman on commentary. Bad News Barrett runs down Climate Change on the way to the ring and says, like Big E, when the storm hits, he will be forgotten. Thank you very much. My accent's terrible, I apologize. Barrett, of course, everywhere the man goes is completely over with the fans. Cesaro pins Big E after hitting the neuralizer. I'm not sure why I can't just put neuralizer. Before that, Rob Van Dam accidentally kicked Big E in the head. This match lasted less than 5 minutes. Well, that's sad. I don't know what the hell happened to Big E. People were really high on him. Obviously, he gets the IC title. He held it from November of last year all the way till now. Just past Extreme Rules, or up to Extreme Rules. What the hell? Like, what happened between now and then that made people think this guy just doesn't have what we want? And watching him on Raw, I kind of saw it. It's just he doesn't excite me. You know, I've never seen the guy talk, so he doesn't. Obviously he's not a promo cutter, a promo cutter. He doesn't have the mic skills, and he just doesn't keep me interested. He's just a big guy who really relies on being a big guy. Even the Big Show can fucking talk, for God's sakes. But I don't know. Anyway, uh, Lana comes out and says America should change and follow Vladimir Putin. They are fucking going at this. This is going as hard as if when Sergeant Slaughter fucking turned Iraqi supporter. Granted, we're not actually at war with Russia yet. Give it time. Yeah, I don't know how this goes. I don't know if this is getting heat. Oh well, let me see. A Loud USA chant broke out during the match. So I don't know how much heat this Vladimir Putin thing is actually getting Rusev. Uh, and I like Rusev. The guy's he squashed Kofi Kingston, and Kofi got in a little offense, I guess, in this match. But I like Rusev. There's a need for a monster heel. And I know I just bitched about Big E relying on being a big guy, but Rusev is fucking fast. He's quick, and he's athletic, and he's explosive. And I know I'm probably saying all these things that Big E is as well, but Rusev has Lana. Rusev has a mouthpiece that can talk. Big E doesn't. Get Big E a mouthpiece, for fuck's sake. Make my life easier. Apparently, Bray cut another promo about Cena. This guy apparently not a fan of Bray Wyatt because he says Bray Wyatt rambles about John Cena. I'm not a fan of that, so this guy can go fuck himself. But so that was probably great. I'm gonna say it right now. God damn, Fandango and Layla defeat Santino and Emma. Never mind. I'm really glad I didn't watch this show. I talk about goofy shit to keep things light. There is a point of too goofy. When you got Fandango and Santino feuding with Emma and Layla. Oh God. So I'm glad I didn't watch SmackDown this week, because fuck that shit. Roman Reigns and Mark Henry. Interesting pair. Reigns lifted Henry over the shoulder, and then dropped him into a Samoan drop and hit the spear for the win. Roman Reigns... The only problem with Roman Reigns is, and I need to watch more of his solo matches, because anytime they have the 3-man tag, it's Dean Ambrose gets his shit rocked for about 10 minutes. Seth Rollins comes in and does some awesome high-flying stuff and provides some offense. And then Roman Reigns gets the hot tag and wins the match. So whenever Roman Reigns gets tagged in, because he never starts a match, and he never comes in the middle, he always comes in the end to finish it. So whenever Roman Reigns gets tagged in, the dude just fucking wrecks house, and the match is over. So I'd like to see more of his solo stuff before I can agree with the supposed mega push that's coming for him. A lot of people speculate that it could be Roman Reigns and Triple H feuding after Batista leaves, which leaves Seth and Ambrose kind of twisting in the wind, even though they'll be fine, I have no doubt, as long as we have somebody to put them against. I could see Seth going for the IC title. I could see him wanting to, put some gold around his waist after losing the tag belt so long ago. Los Matadores come out with El Torito. They face Slater, McIntyre, and Hornswoggle, and Torito pins Slater for the clean win. Again, when you're jobbing to a bull, goddamn, man, how far have you fallen? Where's Damien Sandow? We need Damien Sandow, fucking Christ. Let's see here. Rollins versus Batista. Crowd really hates Batista, chanting "You can't wrestle." Batista had some offense. Let's see. Apparently the crowd starts chanting CM Punk. Goddamn. I mean, you know what? I miss Punk as much as the next guy. But for fuck's sake, why? Why do you keep chanting for CM Punk? He's not coming back. And if he does come back, woo, chant then. But for fuck's sake, I don't like Batista that much right now either. I did not like how they tried to bring him back and play him off as the face of the company and the guy who was going to save us. But for fuck's sake, enough with the CM Punk chants. Let's see here. Rollins runs into the Spinebuster. Rollins counters the Batista bomb. Rollins jumps over the top rope. Second time he tries the top rope move, Batista sees it coming and sidesteps it. Rollins hits the table and gets counted out. And then Batista hits a Batista bomb on Rollins. Rollins sells an injury, so most likely we'll be playing that up on Raw. And then we got the Wyatt family versus the Usos. Holy shit, the Usos still exist. Because after Extreme Rules and Raw, I didn't even think we had tag team champions anymore. Holy fuck. Apparently the crowd was more pro Cena than not, although SmackDown is heavily edited, from what I've heard. Loud Uso chants. Big Brawl breaks out on the floor. I got through Big Brawl breaks out, huh? Yeah, it was nice. One of the Usos gets hit by the lariat from Luke Harper for the clean win. Cena cuts a promo against the Wyatts after the match. He says Bray is afraid and didn't get the pinfall. He got his goons to get the win for him. So, that's SmackDown, folks. Where do I even fucking begin? See, John Cena was on SmackDown. Now I get to bitch about John Cena. Because, see, I wasn't going to do it. I wasn't going to do it. He wasn't on Raw. I wasn't going to bitch about it. But he was on fucking SmackDown. John Cena is just trying to kill this feud with Bray Wyatt. The only person advancing this feud is Bray. All of John Cena's promos are the same goddamn thing. You can't beat me one-on-one. John, you put motherfucker in a steel cage. His goons still got in. I actually see this culminating in Hell in a Cell. Not at Hell in a Cell, but a Hell in a Cell before it. Because that's the only way that this can end. I don't even know if it will end come Payback. I don't know if they can keep this going till SummerSlam. Because at this point we've got, well, it's 1-1. Cena won at WrestleMania. Bray's got the win in Extreme Rules. But Bray needs to pin somebody. Actually, he did pin Roman Reigns on Raw. So, you know, and hell, it's not like John Cena's the one who fucking pinned John Cena got the pin either. It's just, I don't get it. I don't quite get it. Yeah, I guess I got super revved up to bitch about Cena, and then I'm sitting here going, I just don't understand. Because we are never going to see evolution. Evolution. It's a mystery. But we're never going to see John Cena evolve. And there was an interview, actually, funny enough, with Undertaker. It was probably back like 2004, 2005. No, it was before that because he was undead. He was Biker Man. He was Biker Taker. So it's probably like 1999, 2000, 2001. In that period, where he says, you know, you have to keep changing. You have to evolve your character. Your character has to change to keep the crowd interested. But that's not going to happen. Because we know until John Cena stops selling t-shirts and stops being the, you know, and I'm going to say this, and I know I'm going to catch a lot of flack for it, especially if anybody from Orange Circle or Squared Circle actually listens to this. John Cena the man, fantastic dude. Make-A-Wish guy, great with the fans, perfect. But the on-screen character, no, scratch that. The decisions made for this on-screen character don't lead to anything interesting because the fans know we can plot this shit out no matter how long you run this feud. You can run it till WrestleMania next year. And we know that John Cena will come out on top like always. Now, saying this, they could have him turn. They could do it. They won't. But they could. Fuck. They ended Taker's streak. That's always what I go back to nowadays. Is when I say something that can't happen. They ended Undertaker's streak at WrestleMania. Now, whether or not the whole fucking conspiracy theories behind that are true or whatever, you know, there's a difference between ending something that has a huge meaning to fans and the business and potentially, cutting down the money you make from fucking merchandise. And this is not going to happen. Or if it does, it won't be a heel turn. Like, John might get angry, and he might act a little angrier, but it's not going to be a heel turn. What else can I say about this show? What the fuck is going on with the Usos? They were supposed to have a tag match at Extreme Rules against Ryback, and that got cut from the card. I really hate when tag team wrestling gets undervalued. Granted, there's like no tag teams at all in the WWE. You've got Ryback, you've got the Usos, you've got the Shield, I guess, but that's really more of a three-man. They kind of got like a Freebirds thing going on. But you got the Shield, you got the Wyatt family, Los Matadores, but they're not fucking winning the belts. 3MB, same. That's the thing, they don't have viable tag teams anymore, and I hate that. Because I'm a guy who loves tag team wrestling. I love the Dudleys, I love Edge and Christian, I love the Hardy Boys, Murder City Machine Guns, or the Motor City Machine Guns. Either way you spill it. I love tag team wrestling. Good tag team wrestling. Beer money. I know I'm talking TNA a little bit here, and I'm not reviewing TNA. Go fuck yourselves. But I like good tag teams, guys that work really well together. And it makes the crowd loves it. People love it. Kids love tag teams. But for some reason, the WWE just cannot find the way to do it. Because literally, if they wanted that, like, I've been watching WWE Network a lot, and they used to have tons of 4-corner tag matches or 18 battle royals or whatever shit like that. And they weren't great, but at least they could put together 8 tag teams or 6 tag teams or fucking 4 tag teams who are viable options. Yeah, I mean, we had our joke tag teams. You had the Headbangers, and you had, Too Cool to start with, and they were tag champs for a while. But I don't know. I don't like not having tag teams. As for Sheamus being pushed, meh. He obviously wasn't getting over as a face, so you might as well just turn him heel. Makes life easier, gives you another heel for somebody to feud with, and he's got the gold, so that could build a nice feud for somebody. Bo Dallas is coming soon. That'll be interesting. I don't know. I was all up and happy about Raw. No, I wasn't up and happy about Raw, but I was partially satisfied with Raw. And then I read about SmackDown, and SmackDown just made me sad. Guess I'll end the show then. Well, I hope you enjoyed this episode. I promise we will try to stick to a schedule. The schedule is going to be, basically, I'm going to record, and I'm going to cover, in that recording, Raw and SmackDown, and the show will go up Saturday. So, it'll basically cover everything that happened that week, and then pay-per-view weeks, it's going to be a little bit more squished together, because we're going to do a show for each show separately. Show for Raw, show for SmackDown, show for the pay-per-view. Because the go-home shows are usually a little bit more eventful. If nothing happens on the SmackDown go-home show, I'll say fuck it and cover it in the Raw show. So, yeah. Thank you guys very much for listening. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you just generate some discussion. Feel free to leave comments on the videos about what you guys think. Challenge me. Tell me I'm an idiot. Tell me you agree. Tell me you disagree. Feel free to generate discussion. I will be happy to come on and talk to you guys about it in the comments. But yeah, no, thank you guys very much for listening. Check out all the other videos on the Players Code channel. We have a lot of good stuff. And I'll see you guys next time. Thank you. Bye-bye.